Welcome everyone to this week's interview. Today we are sitting down with Erik Rees. He is the co-founder of the Jessie Rees Foundation and also of Team NEGU. Erik, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. I was telling you beforehand that I just finished your book. It was amazing. Whenever there's a sponsor that comes to the sport and they get attached to someone like a Corey LaJoie or Spire Motorsports, I always want to see how I can support them or see what they're about. Because it makes a huge difference for the smaller teams. And
Yeah.
just the more I looked into the foundation, I was like, man, this is awesome stuff they're doing. And I love having you on here. That way, more people can know, okay, here's a little bit more about the story, as well as here's a little bit more of what they're doing. Uh, so, I guess jumping into it, can you tell us a little bit about Jessie and how the Joy Jars began?
Yeah, absolutely. So on March 3rd, 2011, my wife Stacy and I were told that our middle child, 11-year-old Jessie, had cancer. Obviously, the worst news any family could hear. But then when we were told that it was terminal cancer and we were going to have 12 to 18 months with her, it was very, very challenging. Due to there not being a cure for her, she had a brain tumor in her brain stem. And so I actually sought 40 plus second opinions around the world trying to find somebody to say, no, that was a wrong diagnosis. But unfortunately, they were all the right diagnosis. So we put Jessie on what's called a clinical trial. They were testing out some medicines. And so she started going up to Children's Hospital of Orange County here in Southern California, where we live. And she'd go up for chemo, radiation, doctor visits, all that kind of stuff every day for multiple weeks. And so about 3 weeks into the treatment plan, we were leaving the parking garage because Jessie was outpatient. So we'd go up, come home. And so she was sitting in the back seat. My wife was next to me and we're just driving out. And she said, Mom, Dad, when do all the other kids get to come home? And so I remember pointing to the third floor of Children's Hospital of Orange County saying, Jess, there's other kids that are fighting different types of cancer that cause them to stay in the hospital days, weeks, and unfortunately some multiple months. And literally the next word out of her mouth or words out of her mouth have changed the tapestry of our lives because she simply said, how can we help them? And to be honest, I wasn't thinking about them. I didn't care about them. Not that I didn't care about them, but I was trying to save my daughter. And so we got home. Jessie, we put Jessie on the couch because radiation made her super tired. My wife and I huddled up in our den just to kind of talk about what the doctors were telling us that day, what to expect next. And we came out and she was actually sitting right here at this kitchen island that I'm sitting at. And she had her brown paper lunch bags and she was on them, putting stickers on them, writing brave, courageous, smile. And I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, well, I really want to put my Beanie Babies in these and deliver them to the kids that can't leave the hospital. I'm like, you're serious about this? And she said, yes. So I was like, well, let's talk to the hospital, make sure they are okay with it. And whatever they say, let's do it. So the next day we went up and I pulled one of the nurses aside to say, hey, Jessie wants to do this. Is this okay? So we found out that she could do it. She could bring toys and stuff, but they had to be new, age appropriate, nothing sharp, nothing choking, so forth and so on. And the paper bag had to be changed because these kids have compromised immune systems. And so they just didn't want any sort of paper to be used. And so that weekend we sat around as a family and Jessie had noticed a jar on one of our shelves. And she said, what about a jar? And I was like, a jar? And she goes, yeah, we could put toys in a jar. And so long story short, her middle name was Joy. And so Joy and jars just went perfectly together and we created Joy Jars. She designed the colors and everything of them. And she unfortunately lost her fight on January 5th, 2012. So we got 10 months and 2 days with her. And during her courageous battle, she actually, with her family and friends, stuffed and sent out over 3,000 Joy Jars to kids that were fighting cancer. She delivered some of them personally to local children's hospitals. And while everybody was starting to ask more and more about Joy Jars and stuff, my wife and I decided to create a foundation just to try to raise some extra money to help Jessie buy toys and stuff. And I remember asking her, do you want your foundation to be about cure or to be about care? And she said, care, Daddy. And so the Jessie Rees Foundation does not focus on curing childhood cancer. We focus on curing bad days caused by childhood cancer. And one of the ways we do that is by delivering these wonderful joy jars that are 64-ounce jars stuffed to the very top with new games, toys, and activities for boys and girls under the age of 18 that are fighting cancer. And 12 years later, since Jess started, we've now sent out over 430,000 joy jars to kids fighting cancer in all 50 states and 53 countries. And why we celebrate that, unfortunately, there's still 400,000 more children a year that are diagnosed with cancer. And I can't wait for the cure people to find cures and put me out of business. That'd be a great day. But until that time, we really are on a mission to spread as much joy and hope and encouragement as we can and to these kiddos. And Jessie's little mission and motto was NEGU. NEGU stands for Never Ever Give Up. And so we're just continuing to do everything we can to raise awareness, raise money, and reach kids. And we get the honor of teaming up with Spire Motorsports and Corey LaJoie this season in NASCAR.
That's awesome. I know when I was reading the story, that's what it stuck out to me, that just how much of an impact Jessie made. And I went back and I was like, that's just 10 months. Like, I was like, it was crazy, just the impact and just the heart she had for people. Because like you said, if I was in that situation, it's hard to think that I would think, how can I help other people?
Right.
Also, when you start seeing the red tape, it's so easy to say, well, at least we tried, but we can't bring our paper bags in there.
Right.
All right. So how did your partnership with Corey LaJoie Inspire come to be?
So at the end of 2022, I was meeting with a wonderful family foundation here locally and talking to them about opportunities that we would, consider them to look at for supporting the foundation in 2023. And they had said, hey, we actually have an idea for you. We would like to give a designated gift, a grant to the foundation, so you can team up with a guy named Corey LaJoie and Spire Motorsports and be the primary sponsor of 6 races, and create more awareness, reach more kids, raise more money. And we were like, okay, let's check out who Corey LaJoie is. I had no idea who he was. And so, obviously going right even to his Instagram page, and where he says, he's a God-fearing man that loves his wife and 2 kids and drives in circles for a living. I was like, hey, sounds like a good dude. I talked to some other people that knew him, because I didn't want some guy that was going to be not representing us well. But Corey is a solid human and best as they come. And so we partnered with them. We were able to, design the car that's behind me. And we had our first race in Fontana at Auto Club Speedway, Palio 400, whatever, 400 Casino 400 race. And, before that, we actually had a show car engagement at the Joy Factory, which is our offices. And Corey came and met some courageous families and signed hero cards for courageous kids. And then that afternoon, he went and personally delivered joy jars to a local children's hospital. We created a special Corey LaJoie racing version of a joy jar. So he spent over an hour and a half just talking to kids and spreading joy and encouraging them to never, ever give up. And so that was obviously awesome. And then at the race, we were able to bring some more courageous families out, and he was able to meet with them and encourage them. And so, it was an awesome opportunity. And, that was just race 1. And we've got 5 more races throughout the season. And each race we will have Corey visit kids at a local children's hospitals. We work with about 280 children's hospitals. So, thankfully where we're all going, there's a hospital within an hour of the racetrack. So it's this great opportunity to obviously raise awareness, because people don't really know who we are, what we do, and we totally understand that. So awareness is important, but also awareness of childhood cancer. And then obviously the opportunity to get to spread joy and visit kids and bring families out to the racetrack and stuff. it's going to be an exciting year, and we're very, very honored and humbled to be part of it.
That's awesome. What do you feel like the response has been from the NASCAR community?
Oh, wow. The response from the NASCAR community has been incredible. I mean, not only just people like following us now on social media and leaving notes of encouragement, coming to the website and, sponsoring 4 Joy Jars and getting a special edition Corey LaJoie t-shirt. I mean, people have been super generous, super encouraging. I mean, even reading people's comments on Corey's pages or Spire Motorsports when they announced this and stuff, people were very, very excited for Corey. They were proud that he was doing something like this versus just racing for another product. And so they've been incredible, absolutely incredible.
That's awesome. And finally, do you have a favorite NASCAR paint scheme?
Well, obviously the ones that's behind me is my favorite. We're actually changing it up a little bit for Bristol. We're going to make the hood black so the logo pops a little more. But no, I mean, I love our car. I love that it represents obviously our daughter. I love that it has kids on it. I love what Spire Motorsports has done with the hauler, because the hauler is all branded also for the entire season. We actually have a campaign called Holler If You See the Hauler. And so, it's an awesome opportunity. Again, we're just incredibly honored to even be in this opportunity. And because this incredibly generous family foundation believes so much in Corey and believes so much in what we do, it was just an incredible opportunity. And we're super excited.
I was going to say, I've had a lot of guests that have had awesome paint schemes over the years. And they'll be like, well, I guess Earnhardt or Petty. And I'm like, you can choose your own. Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, like the NEGU paint scheme is pretty awesome. So, uh, yeah, like I said, Eric, I really appreciate you joining me. I feel like the foundation, you're doing awesome work. I feel like the book, like I said, it's one of the most impactful books I've ever read. So I really
Thank you
recommend
so
it to
much.
people. Uh, and I just appreciate you getting to share Jesse's mission like with all of us. And
Yeah,
it's a great feel like just even the never ever give up. It's just a great model to live by. So
absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for having me on, and go number 7. It's going to be a great year.
all right, thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.